Good morning, and welcome to the Teacher's Wake-Up Call. And if you are hearing strange noises, it's because of this. Yes, folks, we have air conditioning in our staff room. I'm going to give you the short version of this story. So as you probably know already, okay? So, and for those who are just discovering it, I have multiple sclerosis. Now, when I got diagnosed, which was 5 years ago this past January, I was at a school where there was already another teacher who had MS, or who has. It's not like she's no longer has it, but was diagnosed with MS way longer than I have been diagnosed. Now that doesn't mean that I haven't had like MS for a long time, but anyway, I got diagnosed much later. Thus the joke that both my colleague at the time and my neurologist said, "Aren't you a bit old to get diagnosed with MS?" How should I know? Okay, anyway, I digress. So because I was working with a teacher who was already diagnosed with MS, and her accommodations included air conditioning, the principal at the time, and let's be clear, I was never fully aware of all of my symptoms, but I had a hunch that I was sensitive to heat, unlike my colleague who is much more sensitive to heat in her condition and her type of MS, because there are different types of MS. I'm not here to give you an MS lesson, but I'm explaining. So my principal at the time literally applied the same accommodations to me, making sure I had an air-conditioned staff room, access to AC. So I spent 5 years at that school with those accommodations. Not gonna lie, was nice. Until I changed schools. Now, a lot of people ask me, why did I change schools if I knew that my classroom had AC? Well, sometimes the perks are not the only thing why you stay at a job. You know, you need like professional fulfillment, satisfaction. I'm not saying that my workplace was toxic. Okay, it was not. But professionally, I needed to move on. So I did. And my staff room right now, when I started the school year, not only was it on the 3rd floor, and we all know that heat rises, science fact, it was also in the corner of the building that would receive the most sunlight and would get hottest. When it, during spring, summer, like late summer, that time of year that, teachers are working. So anyway, I quickly realized how hot it would get as my classroom regularly reached either 30 degrees or 32 degrees, and the staff room had no air conditioning unit. At the start of the school year, I made the conscious decision to formally declare my condition to the school board and to ask for the accommodations to be put in my classroom. I'm going to spare you some of the details because I'm already at 4 minutes. And I didn't want to just talk about this. I made the formal announcement to my board, and after consultation with my doctor and the school board doctor and whatnot, it was not deemed essential for me to have AC, but my principal, being the awesome administrator that she is, said, "I know that we can't put air conditioning in your classroom, but we found a unit and we could put it in the staff room." It literally took pretty much a whole school year between placing in the work order, getting the electrical in the classroom rewired, because this is an old building built in 1959 with old electrical connections. That's the best that I could explain it. So they there was a guy who came in to visit the classroom. I think it was late February, early March, and he said, yeah, we're gonna have to fix the electrical. The electrical happened in April. No, I lied. The electrical was done on my birthday in May 20th. And then the unit was installed yesterday morning. And how quickly was it done? It was done in 20 minutes. They removed the window pane. They already had the unit in a piece of wood, plywood, I don't even know what it is. It was already set up and it was like cut to measure and everything, and they put everything in and it was done in 20 minutes. So yesterday I had a very pleasant time in my staff room. And now it makes my experience here even better. And as I explained to my admin before, earlier this year, if this is going to be my forever home, I need to make sure that I have the resources necessary to make sure that it is a sustainable future for me. And I took measures. I made sure there were fans in my classroom. I had a small fan next to me. I also invested in a thermometer to keep track of the temperature. They installed another one by my door to keep track of the CO2, but it also takes temperature measurements. And there's not that, like, the discrepancy between the two isn't that great. So all that to say, if you hear a sound that is akin to an engine, it's because we're making the AC work. Not that it is terribly hot today, but like I said, it's the third floor. It tends to get very warm here, and my colleague said she has a similar AC at home, and right now it's on dehumidify, and already you can feel a difference. You can feel the difference. There is far less humidity in this room. All right, so I haven't posted in a bit. Because it's been a couple of busy weeks on my end, and things are winding down, but whenever things wind down, there's always like a pile of work that needs to get done. Like I have essays that I need to correct. I only started yesterday. Most of my grades are done-ish. I say ish because I still have to calculate a few things here and there. I know I should be using a different system than calculating by hand, but the moment it feels meaningful to me, I will use a different platform. But right now, that's how I'm doing it. So I have to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that I have the proper results, and then I have to clean. Because, and this is the other piece of news, I might change classrooms. I say might. I've put in the request because there are 2 teachers retiring and 1 teacher who is changing schools. The one who is changing school has by far the coolest room on this floor. And I don't mean cool as in like, oh my God, kawaii. No, I mean as in it's not as hot. There are trees in front of her room, bonus, and the windows, not the actual hallway. That'd be silly. And there's a really nice breeze and nice draft. Another one is definitely cooler because it's on the other side of the building. Now, it does get warm in the morning, but it is positioned, once again, in a way where if you open the windows, you open the doors, there is a fantastic draft. I'm okay with that. As long as there's a breeze or something that can just, like, as we say in French, atténuer la chaleur, it's workable, it's doable. And Comic-Con is coming up, and my trip to Besançon, France, where I'm going to be presenting Projet Passion Pop, So many things are happening over the next few days. And I do plan on making a fun video, an edited video. I haven't done that in a bit. I asked my grade 10s to share with me their thoughts, not just about French class. Please, the world does not revolve around French. Yes, it does, but that's a personal opinion. I asked them to write a reflection. Don't move. A reflection about their grade 10 year and looking forward to grade 11 and advice that they would share with grade 9s going into grade 10. And I want to read them, record, and share some of their thoughts. So I haven't done a video like that in a while, so it might take a bit, but that's what I plan on doing. And someone is coming into the classroom, and it's my super duper colleague, Melanie. And on that note, I wish you a lovely day.